Hey guys, alright, it's me, Hugo Designer, and welcome back to me playing my old maps. And this time I'm going to play my 2018 maps. And this one's going to be a little bit shorter because there are only 6 maps in total. I'm not going to be playing my aperture tag ones this time, there are only 2. I'm reserving this video more to my Portal 2 maps. So this year I got a new job, so I have less free time to make puzzles, which means I had less time to release maps. I have a lot of ongoing work in progress maps, but yeah, these 6 maps are some of the best maps I've done to date. So yeah, without further ado, Road to Tartaros. I released this one, I believe it was the 1st of January? Something like that. It was very early on in the year. I'm going to check on the Steam page in just a second. As the map loads slowly. Oh, come on, really? Okay. Alright, let me see. Road to Tartaros. I released it in the 13th of January. Okay, not that early on, but still. I'm not going to read the description, I don't think we have time for that. You can read it at your own will. I'll put links in the description. I just pointed down like you were able to see me. Laser collision is off. Okay, actually, hold up. I think the game might be a little bit too loud. Yeah. Hopefully it's better now. So we start off with no portal gun, which is more of a Talos thing. Same with the cubes being colored gold like this to match the Talos. I don't know why I just jumped this laser like it's going to make something. So yeah, as I was saying, I tried to match the I almost said aperture tag, but no, that would be a crime. I tried to match the Talos looks with the structure of the map, and to be fair, I think my first Talos map, the GLaDOS Principle, looked much better than this one. But with this one I did the lasers, laser redirection cubes. I tried to match them with the connectors from Talos as well as the receptors for the lasers, having the timers. And for this one I implemented sigils, and I color coded them just like in the original game. Okay, I'm going to speed this up because it's just walking around. We have our classic Talos bootstrapping. Let me talk about the design behind this one. I wanted to have something very true to the Talos principle, like I don't think the original, the GLaDOS principle did a very good job at replicating it. Yeah, and we collect the sigils. Oh yeah, and by the way, there is a hidden star here, but I have to trap myself, and I don't remember how I trapped myself in this one. Actually, I might remember. Hold on a second, I might remember. I don't know why I thought I couldn't. It should be trivial. Like, I do this, and those were rather lazy star hidden spots because I wasn't very creative with those. Okay, so all I had to do, let me just quick save here, is this. Ta-da! I trapped myself, and right, I have to get another laser cube here. I don't remember how I do it though. I don't remember. How do I do this? Really makes me think. Do I just stack them? That can't be right. That can't be right. I don't think I just stacked them. But I don't actually remember how I do it. I don't remember. That is shocking. I guess I'll have to leave this one then without the star. So I was going to mention the design choices I made. So with the original map, the GLaDOS Principle, I think I did a decent job at the first puzzle in terms of aesthetics, but I don't think I did a very good job in terms of puzzle. I mean, the first one was alright, but it didn't feel quite right, so I tried to be more authentic to the original Talos with that first puzzle. And this one as well, but yeah. Just do this. No, what? Wait, what? Right. So first of all I get this one. I hope the game's still not too loud. Sorry. So okay, I get this one. I don't need this here anymore, so I just point it there. And now that I have more tools to work with in regards to BMod, I could just use custom fields and stuff like that. So the solid, I forgot the name now, but the white fizzler, it works like the Talos barriers. It blocks lasers, it blocks the player, it blocks cubes, it blocks everything. It's basically a toggleable wall, which is the point of it. And the green fields, they act like the Talos fields that don't let you get objects out of the puzzle. So right, first I do this, bootstrap it, then I grab this one, and here. I also have to trap myself in this one to get the star. Star is right there. But I won't do it now. I think for this one I need to redirect the laser through here. So it points to this from the inside, and then I move the laser cube so it blocks me. Which should be easy to do, but I won't bother because it's not relevant. And yeah, I tried to match the castle-like looks, but it didn't look as good as the original because for this one I had to restrict myself in how I used portal label surfaces because every puzzle is interconnected. With the first one, the two puzzles were separated by a chamber lock, but not this one. Oh yeah, a lot of people were confused by this. I just wanted something that looked different, so I used the Toolby moving platforms, but since they're portalable, a lot of people thought they were meant to portal in them, which is not the case. So yeah, sorry for the confusion. Okay, we do some cube climbing like in the Talos principle. Oh yeah, another thing I try to be very careful with is cube recall, because the Talos principle doesn't have cube recall, and I didn't want to have to fix any exploit with cube recall, because people could actually recall cubes and maybe that would interfere with the solution. So, alright, I'm forgetting the solution to my own puzzles. That's great. So I lock it there. And as I was saying, I try to limit how many cube recalls I can do. So let me get this guy out. Oh yeah, and the third star is over there. Okay, and you have to climb a faith plate area, and then you have to fling up there and get that star, which is over there. Let me show you. Okay, now I have to remember this part. Okay, I have to get right. I put this here, facing that way. Right. Take this with me. Through here. Do another cube climbing. And just swirl there. There we go. Easy peasy. This timer is a little bit longer because I wanted to prevent exploits. So now that we have this guy here, it's just a matter of opening the exit, or rather getting the sigil that opens the exit. Oh yeah, and by the way, I have these stairs. They're meant to simulate the Talos stairs that serve for anti-trapping, and they also don't let you carry objects with them. That's why I have that fizzler here. So yeah, now we just do a little bit of cube stacking, like so. Oh yeah, and I was really wanting to use these guys as buzzers, because in the original I wanted to have some buzzers as well, but I never found a use for them. But for this map specifically, I actually really needed them to prevent unintended solutions with having the laser come out of there and cross this area, which would break the puzzle. So the buzzers were not just decorative, they were used to prevent unintended solutions. Oh, and with redirecting the laser from there to there, which is why that guy is over there. Oh, and let me flip this here. Exit is open. Fun fact, I had to do some really weird timing mechanism to prevent people from getting this guy stuck by having a cube here. And that was really hard to get right. So yeah, here we go. Road to Tartaros. I rate this one 8 out of 10. A lot of people liked it, a lot of people loved it, and a lot of people favorited it. But I think it's a little bit quirky, like some parts of it are a little execution based, not really much, but also there are trapping situations which I tried to implement as stars, but that's just lazy map making, to be fair. So yeah, I don't think I did a very good job with the visuals. Not really sure about that. Next up is Pondering, my only monoportal map for this year, and it wasn't that good actually. So let me tell you about Pondering. I made Pondering because I have never made a monoportal map that had the auto portal on the ceiling. And the reason why I wanted to have one map like this is because at the time of making this, I was writing my monoportal guide. And in my monoportal guide, I had to teach people about having an auto portal on the ceiling. Except I have never made a map with one, so I couldn't speak from experience. So I made this map, I experimented with what could be done. I mean, I could have written about it, even without making a map, because I already had a lot of these ideas in place in my brain. But to make it fair and to also give people an example so they could play and understand it in practice, I made this map. I think I did a reasonably good job with this one, but it's kind of, it's not very let's say user friendly. It requires some mid-fling shots which are not really ideal, especially if people don't have enough dexterity. Right, so we move this portal here and we do a double bounce. If I can bounce right. Oh yeah, and this one wasn't, I never planned to have this fate plate here. You were originally meant to grab the cube mid-fling, but that was even more execution based, so I added the fate plate. But overall, I think I'm proud of this one. It's a good it's a good monoportal map. It's just not very well executed, I don't think. But I think I did a good job with using the funnel and the gel. There were also a lot of moves that didn't make it through, like I wanted to have the funnel suck the player up from there, but never got used to it. Alright, first cube. Now, what do I do with it again? Oh yeah, and I gotta remember a lot of these because I don't actually remember. So, yeah, it's going to be a little bit of a rough playthrough. Okay, I don't think I'm meant to go here yet. I think I meant to take this back. Oh right, I gotta first coat this area in gel. See, I don't even remember. I was watching some of my map solution videos, but since I knew I was going to record this soon, I decided to quit doing that, so that I would have more of a blind playthrough style. Except it's not blind, I made these maps, but I made them a long time ago. So I take this and I place it here, which angles this there. Like this part, for instance, it's kind of a finicky one. You gotta infinite fling and shoot midair. I mean, this specific fling is very reliable, but the next one isn't as much. Also, a lot of people were really keen on shooting that portal surface while infinite flinging, which is not only unintended but also unintuitive, and overall it just, yeah, it doesn't really do well. Right, now I just leave this on top of this one. Okay. Oh yeah, and there are some weird physics with the angled panel. Yeah, as you can see, it's like it's colliding with something. This guy I can fizzle because I will recall him anyways. Recall Steve. We leave Sally there. Wee. It's a little bit laggy, but that's because of recording, so sorry about that. Oh yeah, I did manage to use the funnel in there for more than just the gel. We have to do this and this. but that's a little bit finicky, I think. And a lot of people don't even try to do that. They just try to leave the cube to the side right there, or they just try to quickly fire. Overall, I don't think this is my best monoportal map. I mean, it's obviously not my best, but I don't think it sits among my best monoportal maps. So we place this here for the final fling, and we take this guy over to the what? Over here, because you, sir, are going to sit on the faith plate, which only has one use, which I don't like. Okay, so now for the finicky part, which is infinity flinging and then shooting a far off portal surface while having a lot of lag. Yeah, really not my best work. So we just do this, branching ant lines. Those they look good actually. They look pretty good. A lot of people think you can just fling with the cube and leave the cube here and then bring it around. But guys, the point is that when you're flinging, you don't have control over where you land. You land over there, so you can't just drop the cube here. You will get the cube fizzle. So there isn't really an exploit there, sorry. And for the final fling, well, it's a good thing OBS didn't catch Vintage harding a comment of mine. Thanks V, you didn't make an appearance in my video. Okay, so Pondering, I rate this one 7 out of 10. I think it's a little bit finicky, but it's not overall bad. I think it makes a good use of monoportal on the ceiling. It just could have been more reliable, I suppose. Next up is gel is not always enough. Oh man, I have a lot to say about this one. Let me first. No, Hank, it's not lag, it's lag with an A. And yes, I'm reading chat because I'm also speaking in a voice chat. Okay, gel is not always enough. This is my first hammer map, by the way. I think, okay, I swear I'm not bragging, but let me just pull this up. I think I did a really good job for this one. If you consider that this is my absolute first hammer map, I mean, it's not. There is another one which I'll show you. Let me quickly and swiftly bring it up. Yes, this one. This was my first hammer map, but it was for Portal 1, and I don't have the file anymore. I don't have anything about it anymore other than this specific screenshot. So yeah, and that was like 2011 maybe. I don't count that one. Alright, I did get a lot of hammer experience with that one though, so it served as a stepping stone for this one. This is my official first map, and I think I did a good job with it. So, word of advice, if you meet yourself on the testing track, don't make eye contact. Lab boys tell me that wipe out time entirely, forward and backward. So, do both of yourselves a favor and just let the handsome devil go about his business. Alright, thanks Cave. And I know people dislike voice lines, but this one actually serves as a foreshadowing. So keep that in mind. Thank you for not loitering longer than 3 minutes. I had to manually cut this up and replace it. I could have made a custom texture, but I was lazy, so I had more work doing that. So let me tell you about this map. Let me just pull this up again. Originally this was going to be okay, I don't have it, 1 second. 1 second. Originally this was going to be a BMod map, but let me just find it real quick. Okay, this guy. Nope, sorry. 1 second, guys. Come on! What? Okay, there. But there is a problem. BMod style changer isn't really the best. I'm sorry, TeamSpan, I know you worked hard on it, but it's just not enough. So this is what it looked like before. As you can see, not really convincing as an old aperture thing. So I decided, why not take this opportunity to make an old aperture map? Which I did, it's this one. I started making it way back in 2017 actually, early in the year, very early on, so this map is over a year old actually, but I only worked on it on and off every now and again. So it's not really fair to say that this map is almost a year old in terms of making it, because it was just me waiting around basically. But I did get a lot of help from a lot of really nice people, which are all in the description of this map. Oh, and this was one of the first things I've ever done in this map. This Easter egg. Do not lean on railing. And then, if you're stubborn, you could die. Like that. So this map, I brought it to hammer. But then I felt like it wasn't good enough as it stands. Like this first puzzle, it's way too simple. So I decided to make an advanced version of it later. So yeah. Oh, and a lot of people wonder what that area is for. It's just for saving if you screw up on the fling, so you don't have to die all the time.
Great job, astronaut, war hero, and/or Olympian. With your help, we're gonna change the world.
I absolutely adore whenever people get to this part. They're all like, what? What the hell's going on? What's going on? And they land in new aperture and they're like, what? Where did that come from? And it's always hilarious. People always get caught off guard.
Welcome to the future.
And that voice line is just perfect to wrap it up. By the way, Orbital Blueprint made this song, and it's amazing because it was made specifically for another map of mine, but that was for another game, so I just reused it here. $30.22. Some people were also confused by this thing with the funnel polarity. I couldn't figure out a better way to indicate that the buttons could independently control the power of the funnel as well as polarity. Oh, and thanks to TeamSpan for all the amazing help he's given me, like that suggestion with the piston showing the portalable surface. And with the custom music scripts and stuff like that. He's just really amazing in general. TeamSpan is like the savior of our community. So we place the cube here, and we funnel ourselves. Oh, and by the way, I've always wanted to make an ERC styled map, which is this one. I think I did a decent job because I took a lot of reference screenshots for ERC style and for old aperture style. So we just, oh right, we have to recall the cube. And thanks to Mr. Lambda for the help with that bit. of BTS. I think that looked great. That looks great, not looked, sorry. Oh, and by the way, people think they have to take the cube during this fling, but no, there is a portal surface there, which serves as a shortcut for getting the cube here. So we just fling ourselves, then portal here, grab the cube, and we're done, basically. It took me a lot of learning and a lot of effort to get this map right. Like, I know that on the surface it looks simple, but I had to learn a lot of stuff. Like, not only about aesthetics, like getting the BTS bit right, or proper lighting and stuff like that. Also optimization, I had to look for ways to improve the vis leaves, and there are area portals there and a lot of little optimization stuff. Also implementing the custom music and the funnel music. It's just, I learned a lot from this map, and I really appreciate all the help I've gotten. And that's my cat on the outside of my bedroom, and he's going to be very noisy. Okay, I rate this one 9 out of 10. Because the puzzle, although not really very intuitive, I think it's it's elegant. Like, once you figure out the solution, it's just a matter of executing it. It's very simple to get. And I think I did a good job with the visuals. I deliberately didn't show you the Easter egg because I want people to actually go and find out the hidden room and how to unlock it. But yeah, for a first map, I think I did a good job. Today I think I see a lot of things that I could have made better, but for a first, I'm really happy with it. So 9 out of 10. Next up, Walking on Sunshine. Oh, I love this one. So this map was made for Trial by Fire 4, which is a mapping contest. And I've wanted to make a Light Bridge Fizzler map for a long time. So there is only one Fizzler, but still. A Light Bridge map in general, I suppose, because I haven't made many Light Bridge maps in the past that were decent, I suppose. This map uses a custom item that I made that places these panels as well as that monstrosity, which serves only to prevent exploits. I'm not at all happy with that, and if I could, I would remove it, but that leads to unintended solutions. I'm actually happy with that bit right there. So yeah, I think in terms of puzzle solution, this is one of my best maps. Like, the actual solution is very elegant and it requires a lot of recalling the same cube and placing the light bridge to reach the same place from different positions. I think I did a good job with the portal management bit, which is, by the way, my favorite thing about Portal 2 is portal management. So first you place your portal down here, and then you have to place your portal all the way over there, and then it's removed, and I think I did a decent job with that. So we'll take this guy here. I do plan on remaking this map in Hammer someday, but that won't be anytime soon, so don't hold your breath. So now we just go there again, speeding up. And this map went through way too many iterations, like way too many iterations. I was almost ready to give up on it. This design was one that I was ready to scrap because I thought I'm going to make this design and once I figure out the puzzle I'm going to redesign it. Except I never found a way to redesign it that enforced the solution, so I had to stick with this layout, which I wasn't very happy about. Especially this bit, which is to prevent an exploit. But this is the final cube recall, and it closes off the bridge there, so you just fling to the exit. And I suppose this last move with the light bridge is rather unneeded, but it just adds a final touch of getting the bridge from different locations to achieve the same thing. Grab the cube and leave. Alright. So, Walking on Sunshine, I rate this one 8.5 out of 10. I think the puzzle is great, I love this puzzle, but the layout is not the best, and there are a lot of weird grading stuff to prevent unintended solutions, and I really wish I could improve on this layout. So, next up is Resourceful, one of my later maps. This one is actually kind of it was a bit of a surprise, really. So let me tell you the story behind Resourceful. I was playtesting for Mystical Ace. I was playtesting his map. Let me pull it up. Actually show you the map. This one, Laserful Recall, which is a very similar puzzle to this one. I was playtesting this, and while playtesting, I was trying to figure out ways to improve this puzzle. And I actually told him of these ways, but I'm not sure if he wanted to keep this layout or something, but I then decided that my ideas for improvements on this puzzle were pretty good, so I asked him if I could make an advanced version of it. He was alright with it, and here it is, the advanced version of that map. So, this one has some of the same principles, but with extra moves. Like that bit is the same, with getting the laser to open that fizzler, then you pour there and you take the cube inside and then recall the cube. That's basically the same thing. But that's about where the similarities end, because once I do this and recall, then the map is completely new. And now you have to redirect the laser back to the original catcher, which is something I thought would be interesting for his map, and that unlocks that, and then I just put a portal there and it activates the relay. I think I did this is the first time I've used a laser relay, or if not, this is the first time I used one properly, because the relay ensures that I have to do those steps to get this fizzler off so that I can walk through and maintain the laser. And also there's this and then you have to place a portal under there. What? Okay. And retrieve the cube. And this is the reason why I disabled the laser collision. This, and also walking through the portal with the laser. Which, by the way, I think every map with a laser should have laser collision off by default. So yeah, I'm actually really happy with this one. This is by far I think this is my most elegant map. Like, there's not a single move here that is messy, I don't think. Even portaling under the cube there is reliable. So I rate this one 9 out of 10. It's not my original puzzle, I mean, it partially is, but the original idea wasn't mine. But I think I did a really good job expanding on the original puzzle. Which, by the way, go check out Mythical Aces puzzle, I'll put a link in the description. And at last, we reach the final chamber. 3 funerals, 2 coffins. This map was released on the very last day of 2018. And I was really rushing because I was going to celebrate New Year's Eve with my family. I mean, I did, but they were kind of rushing me because there were only a few minutes before midnight and I was here trying to publish this map. But in the end, it all worked out. I only had to make a single fix to this map. So let me tell you about this one. The original, rather the core idea of why I made this map is because I wanted to have a puzzle with only 2 portalable surfaces, those 2. And I've seen some maps from Demon Arisen and Fumbly which were great, and they also used only 2 portalable surfaces, but they seemed to lack on the flexibility of how much you could do with those 2 surfaces. In Fumbly's case, she used stairs to break the portals, and I think that's cool. And the other puzzle, she used the Fizzler to prevent you from taking the cube through the portal or flinging through it, which was also nice. But in Demon's map, since there are no Fizzlers and no moving portal surfaces, the portals once placed never change, so it felt like you could just, you know, have auto portals there. And I was thinking about it, and I figured maybe if I had something that prevented me from shooting the portal, and once that was off I could shoot the portal and then never move the portals again. And that would be cool, but that also felt rather dull. That felt like activating auto portals. So I was doing some thinking and I came up with the idea of using a funnel both as something to carry gel and as an obstacle with an angled panel. In my original idea, that angled panel pointed downwards and the funnel was from the bottom up. And the funnel was going to be reversible, but I never found a way to implement that. But in the end, I think I got most of what I wanted for this puzzle. The funnel, the gel, reuse, and the way you have to place your portals, then remove your portal to get that, and then replace the portals again and remove the portals. All that dynamic of moving portals with only 2 portal surfaces is what makes me very proud of this map. But besides the bit with portals, this set of movements with the cubes was kind of, it just happened basically. I wasn't planning on having such a heavy cube recall puzzle, but it just happened. I don't know how. Inspiration, I suppose. So there are a lot of moving parts in this puzzle, even though, well, there aren't a lot of moving parts actually. There are just a lot of moves that I wasn't expecting to make. This thing, for example, placing the companion cube here. I wasn't really planning on doing that. Like, I had this button to spawn the gel, and then I was like, that feels a little bit cheap. I could just have a pedestal button there. And then I tried to think of ways in which I could reuse that button to place a cube on that button and have it do something regarding the puzzle. And I'm very glad that I managed to figure out how to do that. So this guy sits here, and this guy sits here. And this whole cube switcheroo thing that just kind of also happened naturally. I'm not really sure how. If you ask me, Hugo, how did you manage to think this map up? I'm not sure. I thought of a lot of cool moves. Sorry, like having the funnel reverse or having gel there so that I have to bounce up here, which is, by the way, oops. The reason why this is only 2 blocks tall is because I wanted to have gel here, so at one point you would have the angled panel but not the funnel, so you had to bounce up, but I never found a use for that either. So recall this guy, and I really like this part because it uses the funnel both as a way to get up into that area, but also as a way to gain height for flinging, which is, it just basically happened out of the blue as well. Like getting that extra height to press that button. So then we get this guy here. And this guy, I'll admit that he isn't really very used. He's just used here once to recall him in the end, but I think he plays a good role in it, because the final move, which is what most people loved about this map and what got so many people to favorite it, is that you basically have to sacrifice every single cube at once. And I was kind of caught by surprise by myself, because when I was making this map I was just thinking of all the different iterations on all the different combinations of elements. Like, what if I had that thing lowered, that panel lowered, so then I had to fling here, but at the same time I had to remove my portal, which plays again in the whole thing about having multiple uses for the portal surfaces. So I was thinking, then I reset my portal so I can bounce, use the portals, the open portals, as an obstacle. And while thinking of all that, I somehow managed to make it all happen in the same layout, which I still don't know how I did it. So here's the real catch of this map, I suppose, the real hook. It's also in the name of the map. Besides the 2 coffins, which are these 2 portal surfaces, there are the 3 funerals, because to get to the exit you have to kill all 3 cubes at once. And I think I've wanted to make a map like this in the past, but never really put much thought to it. So I'm really pleased that this worked out in the end, somehow. So we kill the companion cube, then we kill the black cube, which, I messed up. There is that problem if you mess up. Well, that's great, isn't it? Yeah. Okay, so thankfully it's basically a matter of just repositioning the cubes to get the final move again. But still, that kind of sucks if you mess up. But that bit with the laser as well. I just wanted to have a reason to recall this cube, because in the past, recalling this cube was really not needed. So besides closing that portal surface there so you can bounce, I also wanted to have a reason for it to drop there, which is why I placed that laser. Alright, hopefully this time. And This isn't really much of an excuse, but the reason why I couldn't get it is because of lag. Because when I'm not recording, I don't really get this lag. So yeah. Also, design-wise, I'm actually really happy with this map. I tried to follow some of Fumbly's aesthetics with the panels and the pistons and angled surfaces. I don't think I did a job as good as she would, but still, I'm actually pretty happy with the design of this one. Oh, and I also used a magic bullet, just like in Walking on Sunshine with those ugly grading things. I also used one here to get those diagonal um, windows, glass panes, and also paint fizzler there, which is hidden, but that looked ugly when the gel burst there. Also a trigger there to push the cube into the laser. It already worked every time I tested, but I just wanted to make double sure that the cube would always land on the laser. And a trigger push there to make sure that the player wouldn't fling into the faith plate, because somehow I managed to make this last fling always bring the player to the faith plate, which would have been nice if that was intended, but when the player landed on the faith plate, he was just launched back here and the progress was reset. So for the sake of this video, I'm going to slow down a bit, but if your game is not lagging, then you don't really have to worry about this being finicky, because I tried to make sure it would be as reliable as possible. So we killed the companion cube, we killed the black cube, which leaves a ghost that then makes the blue cube recall himself and close that portal. I'm really glad this all worked out in the end. And there we go. Oops, clicked out. There we go. You kill 3 cubes and you bury them in 2 portal surfaces. I'm going to rate this one 9 out of 10 because I think that despite the exploit you can have with the last portal surface and bouncing to the end, and besides the final move, which if you mess up you have to basically redo everything, well, you have to redo a lot of steps. But despite all that, I think it all worked out in the end. Like, I think I did a good job in giving this map a lot of different combinations of portals with only 2 portal surfaces, which was my main goal, was to increase the use of those portal surfaces, not just have them be used a couple times basically. So yeah, I think this wraps up my 2018 video, which was shorter because there were fewer maps, but I hope that this year I'm going to get more puzzles out. I have a lot of ongoing puzzles. There were puzzles that I could have released in 2018, but I didn't feel they were good enough to publish or finished enough to publish. So yeah, hopefully in 2019 I'll have at least a map a month. I'm not sure if I'm going to pull it through, but I really do hope that I can get a map every month at least. And yeah, looking back in 2017 and comparing it to 2018, I think I improved an awful lot in my map designs. My maps are now more elegant, better designed, and more reliable, and they focus more on logic than execution, which is a major step up in my opinion, because my past maps required a lot of gimmicks to work. Like for instance, Hard Asbestos Bridge is a puzzle that involved merging together a funnel and a light bridge. That was from 2017. And not only that, but it also dealt with portal orientation, which I don't think is really intuitive. At least today, I don't think it is. So yeah, I'm glad I moved out of that gimmick phase and entered this concise and clean design mentality, I suppose. Trying to make my maps as accessible as possible while also being challenging and creative, which is hard. It's very hard to make good maps. But hopefully in 2019 I'm going to get more of those. So yeah, thank you guys very much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye bye!